Nice to see you. Listen, I'm going to tell you right off the bat. I have my Prescott, Explorer Prescott mug. So before we even start, why don't you tell people where Prescott is?
Now, Prescott is at the border. That's how I would start.
Interesting. Because you lived in the United States. We'll get to that.
Yes.
Yes.
But it's somewhere midway between Ottawa and Kingston.
Between Ottawa and Kingston. Yeah. We're at the 401, and if you go directly north, what is that highway? 517?
416.
416, yeah. Okay, so you're kind of at that crossroads.
Yes.
Okay, so just so people have an idea where that is, because it's not, a Toronto type of place.
I also like to call it as we're closer to Thousand Islands.
Ah, yes. So, how did you end up in Prescott?
Good question. Sometimes I wonder how myself. But you know what? I feel like my whole history while growing up, it has been very different. So I grew up in India, did my training in India, while my parents... My training in medical. Like
medicine.
I'm a medicine. I'm a trained physician.
Okay.
So I did my training in India. And then... I don't know if we would want to dig into that whole situation, but I'll keep it short. But from there, I came to United States and joined my family. My parents were there.
Okay. So you were in medicine, you trained physician, and how long were you doing that where you were seeing patients?
So see, I was not a physician by choice.
All right. Holy, we're getting in early on this stuff. All right, tell me more.
If I can get into it. I was a good student, and
it came easily to you. The marks, you had to put the work in, but you got the results.
It's not even like I didn't even know if that's the result I wanted. So I growing up, I think we don't get a choice, at least for Indian families, I can say so. Or probably at that time, I don't know, the society has changed now for a lot, like for the better, and it has changed a lot.
Like, do you have siblings?
I have a younger sibling.
So was it from the beginning, both of you are going to be physicians, or did they see something in you and they said, well, you're getting, you can clearly, Dinny's going to be a doctor.
No, at that point it just meant, because what's a top tier? If you're really good in biology or if you're really good in mathematics. So it just meant that, you could be a physician, or you could be very specific, computer engineer. So those were the two choices that...
So not just engineer.
No, computer engineer.
Interesting. All right. Okay.
Because we appear for an exam, right? And it's based on merit. So the top one was the computer engineer.
And how old were you when you did this
18.
test? Okay, so you get to 18. You've been through what we would call high school. Did they call it high school there? Or
high
in
school,
India?
Yeah. We call it high school as well. But we have 11th and 12th grade. That's like, I feel like it's a boot camp.
Oh.
I don't even know what else I did.
That was it. Your whole life was school, come home, study.
Yes. And I feel our culture is also embedded, or it grows with the kid, or rolls along with the kid schedule. So I don't think my parents ever did anything else besides just, I would just go upstairs in my room to study, and they would be just quietly doing some stuff. It's not no loud TV.
Yeah.
No guests in the house after a certain time, and that's how it's serious business.
Yeah.
And then after 12th, you appear for this exam, and if you crack it, then that's, if you do it really well, then you get into a med school. It
would be a shame if you didn't choose medicine because your marks were so good and you did so well. Is that kind of thing? Yeah.
Yes.
So it wasn't like they said, you have to be a doctor no matter what.
No.
You had this gift that they saw, and of course it is a gift, but they saw this and it's like, okay, you're going to medicine.
Yes. But in like where I grew up in 11th and 12th, like when you start your 11th, you have a choice. Either you want to have your major as biology, which means you're training or probably trying to appear for a medical exam, and then, or else you could choose mathematics or math. And then you can, at the end of the year or 12th grade, you can appear for engineering exams.
Okay.
So I had to make a choice after my 10th. Do I want to be a physician or do I want to be a computer engineer? And guess what? I had no idea about both.
So why did you flip a coin or did you think, I kind of like
I was like, math is like, I don't think so I could do math. And they all said, oh, well, if you're a doctor or if you go in this field, you would not have math. So I was very excited about that fact. And I thought, okay, I think this sounds easier.
Okay. So you go in, you do your medical school, and then what happens?
I think I was very confused.
Oh.
This is where I am. It's great. And I was a good student in med school as well. But did I see myself doing this every day, 365 days? And I thought, maybe not. So I was confused, whereas there were some of my friends who were like, oh, I want to be an endocrinologist. I would look at them and I'm like, what is that? You're a doctor. That's it. Like, what about the specialty thing? But there were people who were so focused from the beginning. I felt I wasn't focused. And that's where I was like, okay, what do I want to do? So I was confused, and I thought in India, they allow you to do something called this house job, which is you can work in certain fields that you think you would be interested in.
Okay, like what they would call co-op or cooperative education. Here you go practice a bit.
Yeah.
Check it out, see how you like it.
Yes, so there it's house job. So I was a house doctor, and I started with family medicine or internal medicine there, but I didn't think that was for me. So then I started working in cardiovascular field, and I worked a little bit in emergency medicine. But I still thought, something's missing. I was not that type of person who would look at one patient at a time kind of thing. Like it was joyful, but there was something which was missing. And I thought I'm confused. Little did I know. I was like, now looking back, I feel like I had that conviction and very clear thing about myself. Where do I see myself in the future?
You were thinking, I'm not just going to settle with this and do this for the rest of my life because this is how...
This doesn't suit or doesn't align with my personality. Something. Like I'm more of a person who's like, oh, what's my gift? At that time, I didn't know the terminologies, but I think now, looking back, I think I was more close to, okay, what's my gift? Does it align with my gift? So
right off the bat, now we're establishing one of the themes. You're okay with change. You're okay with making change yourself, and that's pretty big, right? A lot of people would look at that and say, oh, I'm sure maybe people did say this. Man, I can't believe you're leaving that behind. You've worked so hard for all this, and now you're going to do something else. How could you do that? Did you get some of that?
A lot.
From maybe your parents or family, uncles, and aunts?
My parents as well. Because, and even, I would say just society in general, it's not looked upon as, oh, that's a success. No, that's a failure. What are you waiting for?
Yeah.
Choose a specialty and just do that.
Yeah. You don't have to be happy. Yeah. You have this
Who
gift.
talks about
Use
happy?
the gift. Yeah. What do you have to be happy for?
So
your mother and I aren't happy. Yeah, I'm just kidding.
But those are the kind of mindset.
Yeah.
And in India, like that's not like if once you've done this, you cannot think of doing something else. That's a total disaster.
All right. How did you get to America?
So my parents had moved to States when I was in med school.
Oh, okay.
So my mom's a registered nurse. So they moved to United States, and they were waiting for me to join them after finishing med school. And they wanted me to do residency. So
in the U.S.?
In the U.S. And I was like, oh, well, I wanted to first find out what I want to do. And then I tried a little bit in different fields, as I mentioned before. But then somehow I got the opportunity to work with some public health programs back in India. And then, I got introduced to a different world as now I think about it. So world of grant writing, program planning, evaluations, and then working with people, HR, right? So you are accustomed to leading a team, but then I was looking at, okay, from a different lens, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then somebody just out of the blue mentioned public health, whereas in India, it was not, like nobody knew, like masters in public health. And I was like, oh, what is that? But this was a person who came from states. And then with that, I was like, oh, that's interesting. And they said, oh, why don't you work in research and then get some idea? Because it was also data, like I worked with some data stuff too.
So yeah, you were mentioning it was 2010 when you were looking 10 years ahead. And so now you're at around 2019, 2020.
2019. Yeah, 2019, we're looking for a change. Okay, what do we do next? Right? And then 2020 happened. And at the same time, I had my second daughter. So
yeah, of course you have this family because, you know.
Yes, and I was at a completely
You have lots of spare time in your hands.
and I feel like it's a different state of mind as well.
Yeah.
And at the time, it was a little scary, not just for me or my family. I'm sure it was for everyone, but things around there were a little scary. And then we thought, okay, where could we go or what could we do where our family could be safe, we could thrive at the same time. And then we had heard a lot about Canada. I have my extended family who live here. I have my husband's family, extended family who lives here. And we always have heard good stuff about Canada and the culture.
Had you visited at this point? Or you hadn't even visited?
Once or twice.
Okay.
Like the falls, for example.
Okay, yeah.
Right? So I don't think so that gives you the complete picture, though.
No.
But we had heard a lot about these terms, which is family-oriented. You know, so I was like, oh, well, that's...
Nice place to raise your children.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, why would anybody not want to come here, right? Like, it's family-oriented. Yeah. And whatever that meant. Well, I took it really, or my husband as well, took it really...
I hope the tourism people are reading this. They could pick up on that, for Canada. Like, or maybe change that on our license plates or something. A nice place to raise a family. Yeah.
Which is true. And then everybody would talk highly of the medical system and all of that. And I thought, this is the best place to be and closer to home. Why not?
And so then you're thinking, how do I get here?
Mm-hmm. So I applied for different positions.
In public health?
No, I had, again, that was a little more thoughtful process. Like, which title should I go after? And I was very intentional about where I want to go. And I thought I want to be in the medical field. Mm-hmm. And I just applied for this title. And somehow this job came up at that time. And nothing fancy or nothing much more interesting about it. It was Prescott, and the other choice was BC, somewhere in BC.
So let's put the whole picture together here. You're a doctor, Masters of Public Health, MBA. Like, you would think that someone with all that education would go to, I don't know, something corporate or government or something. And so you go to Prescott. How many people live in Prescott? What's the population? 3,000?
5,000 at that time. That's what I was told. I don't know if there are not. Yeah.
You're applying to this family health team, and there's 3 doctors?
At the time, 4.
Four physicians, and how many staff altogether, including the physicians? 12, 15?
18, including physicians.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they get your resume, rolls across their desk, and they're probably thinking, I can't believe this is happening. This person has come with all this experience and is applying for this job. And then what happens? So you interview and...
I interviewed. There were different
Did they hire
levels.
You on the spot?
No. There were different levels, right? And there were 3 interviews. I did... I thought I did well in all 3 interviews. But there was this time where I didn't hear from them. So I don't know what was happening in the background. Apparently they said, it's COVID.
A month, 2 months?
A month or so.
Okay, so not too bad.
Not too bad. So, but then they said, well, it's difficult to get all the physicians together to make the final decision. That's what I heard. But I don't know why did they hire. But once I got into the role, I got to know like there were not many people who wanted to come to Prescott, from other parts of Ontario.
Of course, it's 3 hours or so from Toronto. Small community.
Yeah.
And I guess, like I was saying before, like how many people with your level of education would want to come to a smaller town? Yeah. And so what was it for you that drew you here?
I asked for the information related to staff, like how long are they here for? And then, of course, they had this whole information about St. Lawrence River, how it would be good for a family to raise a family. I'm like, oh, that's true.
So, right?
It's a good place.
It came as advertised,
yes,
is what you had heard.
And I was given this introduction as well, that the office is right next to the St. Lawrence River. Look at the view and blah, 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 all of that. And I think I was good. You know, I just had a baby.
Yeah.
And my baby was 6 months or 7 months old when I interviewed. And I was like, this is perfect.
Awesome.
So, and I think COVID also helped because we were not meeting with a lot of people anyway. Mm-hmm. Right? And I thought, okay, there will not be much change because since past 1 year, that's what we've been following because of the COVID restrictions and all of that.
So you get the job, you come to the clinic. Like, what does your first week look like? What is your approach? There wasn't slashing and burning right off the bat, right? Like what's going through your head? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking, first of all, I'm this person who's very happy and grateful for the opportunity that I receive.
Of course, but they didn't want you to come here and just, watch over it and not change.
No, I don't know what they were expecting. I just knew I wanted to meet everybody.
Because you have a vision in your head of what good looks like. It probably came out in the interview, so it's not like, yeah. So what's your approach? You come in and what do you do?
Meet with all the employees.
I
have a plan. Usually the first week, this is what I'm going to cover. I'm going to cover meeting most of my nurses. Second week, it would be the front desk, and it's general casual conversation. Yeah. It's not like, I just go into the deep. Well, how do you like your job? No. Just general conversation. Tell me about you. Who's in your family?
Oh.
So
you want to get to know them as people.
I want to know them as people and have that connection. Mm-hmm. And I also wanted to talk about myself. Like, they should know where I'm coming from. Now, this was COVID. We all had masks.
Yeah.
And I thought I had this disadvantage because, I'm such a nice person. I love to smile.
Yeah, you're losing that part. It's only you're just seeing the eyes. Yeah,
yes. So
you should have painted a smile on the mask.
That's what everybody said. At the end, like you should have done that. But I couldn't. So it was very difficult. And then we couldn't even hold group meetings like that, usual group meetings, because it was COVID. So it was good in one sense that I got the time, but the conversations were through masks. So it masked the whole personal touch. I feel it was a challenge.
It's a hard way to start.
Very hard way to start. Okay,
so your approach one-on-one, and then you're probably through group meetings, maybe you're doing virtual meetings on
virtual
Zoom
or we had it like in our front area. So everybody, kept distance.
Yes.
But
I guess if it was summertime, you could have went outside as well, right? So okay, so as you're learning in that way, are you formulating? Because you may come in right off the bat and have an instant heuristic, we got to change that, we got to change that. Did you not come in with an idea, or you just thought, I'm going to be open-minded and I'm going to listen?
Listen.
Mm. So how long do you listen for until you act?
My complete listening mode would end in a usual scenario. Now, Prescott was not a usual scenario. I'll talk about that later. So my listening mode would be for 3 months. First 3 months, I'm just meeting people.
Observing, listening.
Having
no rash decisions.
No. I've been asked this question so many times at different executive interviews. What's your plan for the first 60 days? And I said, just listening, just meeting all the people around. I don't have a crazy plan. I'm not here to demonstrate what I think is good for the organization.
How do you get people to open up? Were there some tough nuts to crack? Yeah.
Yeah, some people didn't like to talk. So how do you go with that, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're not the conversation kinds.
So what do you do?
So, generally when they're eating, when they're around, common activity, right? So
You
just
try the one-on-one, and then otherwise, are we in the lunchroom now?
yes.
Yeah. So people are having lunch. Let's say this. Did people used to meet and eat lunch together, or did they eat lunch in their own little office?
Their own office.
What do they do now?
Now they're together. They go out together. They go out together for walks, like eat quickly. But we have a beautiful site,
Yes.
right? It's a beautiful
Yeah,
place.
you can see the St. Lawrence River behind
Yes,
me. Yeah.
Yes, and people walk all the time after lunch,
Yeah, that's awesome.
and they spend time together.
Did they do that before you arrived?
Not really.
Okay.
Not
So
really.
what changed?
It's the connection that changed. There were few peoples, of course. They were friends with each other. But we didn't have that close knit of a group.
So I saw it today. We arrived. So Frank and I, my buddy, who's responsible for doing all the stuff behind the scenes, we drove in. So I left at 9 from my house, and I arrived here at 3 p.m. Right? So you can imagine, wow, and then we're driving home tonight, right? So you're thinking, wow, you're going all that way just to Prescott, Ontario. Couldn't you find anyone 10 minutes from your house? No, because when I met you and I saw your philosophy, and then I got to meet your team, and then even today we're sitting upstairs and we're chatting about stuff, and it's just like everyone's so open, and I want to understand how you did that.
It's more of listening. So
But at some point, the listening has got to end, and then there has to be action.
yes. And then action is like I take input from everyone, but then I have to put it together in the big realm of picture. And I say bird's eye view. Where does this puzzle align? And then depending on that, what should be my first move? I want to get this complete picture.
Did you hear things from people and they're like, well, don't tell anyone. Don't say it. I don't want it to come from me, right? And then you have this information. And you're like, well, how do I now make action without letting on that it came from this person or these people? Or did you not really have that problem?
I didn't have that problem. Like, don't tell me it's coming from me. No, I had more of this concern that, even if I'm talking now or sharing now, would this be heard?
So they had shared in the past.
Seems like.
And it seemed to fall on deaf ears. And then now they almost felt a certain level of skepticism with you, thinking, well, I'm going to watch and see what you come up with. Because we've talked about this before, and it hasn't happened.
Yeah.
So then you're taking action on certain things. Can you give examples of something that you changed?
I started with our employee health and wellness program. I started with, I want to value you.
Was there an employee health and wellness program?
No.
So you started that from scratch.
Yep.
Was it met with resistance or skepticism?
Skepticism. Oh, it's going to be for 1 year. Nobody's going to look after this after that. I know, well, it's just the honeymoon period. kind of that concept.
So what is that? What is a health and wellness program?
So health and wellness is we offer. Now it's not a fancy program, first of all. Like, when you say health and wellness, it seems like, we're offering gym membership or some expensive stuff. No, we can't afford that. We're a very small team. But this is about empowering my employees. So we celebrate their day, which is birthdays or any special day, if it's a social worker week, nurses week. So we give them some recognition. And along with that, there are some special events, special recognition, which is leading lights, like somebody who's done something good for the team, for their patients. So people nominate a name And then we choose, okay, how many votes we got.
How do they nominate it?
It's
you have
anonymous.
a box?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anonymous stuff. So we have a box and they write what this person has done. I saw so-and-so being very kind to this patient over the call.
And what do you call this?
Leading lights.
Leading lights. How'd you come up with that name?
The first part was to come up with a committee, health and wellness committee. So which is, I have employees who are part of that.
How many?
So far we have 5.
Okay. Like if 10 volunteered, would you have 10 or would you cut off?
Cut off because we provide some special perks as well, like, some admin time to these people who are part of the committee.
Yeah.
So they get that for their work that they do as part of the committee. So it's something which encourages them to be part of the committee. But at the same time, there's all these projects that are offered. Like, you're responsible to make this special day for so-and-so great, even more special.
What kind of things do you do?
So we're, like, my team, again, they were all camera shy to begin with. Like, nobody wanted to take a picture.
We broke them. We did a video with them now. They saw Frank come through the door and they said, oh, this is like a whole production. Yeah.
But we've done, like, I'm a big selfie person. So if it's somebody's special day, you know what? I have to make sure, first of all, that I have to be there.
Yes.
So whatever, meetings I have, I will excuse myself to be part of that person's special moment or day.
If it falls on a weekend, you just do it on the Friday or the
Monday. We decide,
Okay.
and people vote, okay, and then somebody looks at everybody's schedule, okay, what would be the best window, and then I get informed as well, this is what we've decided, and I make sure to show up and support.
So, but medical clinic is busy. How do you make time for this?
So it's like, before the main lunch break, we'll probably have 15 minutes that we get together, talk about, and, what if it's birthday. So, congratulate.
So give me an
that
example.
person. So it's like, for example, we had Nurses Week. For the whole week, we would plan something special, like a appreciation board where patients can come and then write some special stuff about nurses. Then we would have some special gift baskets that we would prepare for them as a gratitude for their service. And everybody would show up and everybody would share, okay, what things they've done.
Who's organizing this?
So the committee.
It's the committee.
The
So the committee all does that. Who's putting it into action? The committee? Or do you, like, they'll divvy up?
They will divide,
who will
do what, but it's mainly the committee. Now, I'm part of the committee, but not, like, if it's something which involves money, extra expense, or something which is, involves some other organization, for example, and they just want to make sure that this is what they're deciding, final check from Dinny. So I just come in at the last moment.
Yes.
But it's mainly decided by them.
Was it always like that? Like, what was it like at the beginning when you started it? Was it just anyone volunteering for the Health and Wellness Committee and it was just you and someone else or something? Yeah.
My assistant. So earlier was that. Yeah. And then we started with the voluntold because we thought, oh, you got this.
Yes.
You could be a champion because there are so many good people around.
Yeah.
They just were a little scared.
Okay. And so they needed a bit of a nudge.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And then I was like, it would be fun. Join this committee. And people started joining. It was good.
Did you have a vision and you thought, oh, let's do birthdays, let's do this leading lights and all this kind of, did you already have that or did the committee?
No, I had a lot of stuff.
Okay. So you already had an idea what you would like to accomplish.
And I would share it with them.
Yeah.
Right. This is what it is. And mind you, like I did my whole training. Right. And when you do these MBA programs, and I did MBA concentration in healthcare management.
So they give you ideas.
Yeah. Like, I have the whole HR class, which is all this.
Yeah.
How do you bring up the morale? Like, I can write probably a lot of pages on, okay, what could you do? Because we had discussions, we had projects.
And all this is in your head? Or do you keep it somewhere? Like, do you have like a journal where you have all your ideas, or do you keep it on an app or something? Or
I have a journal. And whenever it would be like that light bulb moment, I'm like, oh my gosh, I would write it down.
And so do you go back and look at the
I
journal?
always go back.
Okay, so you're going back constantly. And do you set time aside in your week?
Absolutely.
Like a Friday afternoon or something? Or
Intentional. It's actually late night.
oh,
When my kids are in bed. You know,
what do you mean late night? Like 2 a.m?
Like after between 11 or 10:30 and 1. I go to bed late night.
Ah, wow. So that's interesting because most people want to shut the mind down, but you find that that actually is, what is it about that time of night that
I reflect on the day. And then I get, okay, I can prepare for the next day. You know, and I don't know what it is, but
do you sit down on a Friday and then plan out your whole next week, or do you just do it day by day?
Day by day.
Yeah.
Day by day. But I plan for the year.
Yeah.
Like my goal overall. This is the direction. But the action steps, like the little bit, like the nitty-gritty details is day by day.
So I just want to go back to the wellness program you have. I don't know a lot of other medical teams that do that. Some do, but some don't. So if someone is watching this and they don't do that, what would you suggest to them? How to start? They may say, oh, I'm so overwhelmed with all these other things. How would I even have time to do this? And no one's really motivated. Like what would you say?
I would say this is not an option. This is an absolute
it's a must.
Necessity. Right? That's one.
It's a miss if they're not doing it, in your opinion.
Doing it. Absolutely.
Why?
So it's not like, oh, can I do this? No, you have to. Now the question is, how do I do it? Right? So we should be focusing more on how do we offer this program. And then the hesitation that I've come across is, it involves a lot of money. It's not a lot of money. You could do a lot of things with, money on the side, like with restricted budget. And like I said, it's not about fancy gym membership. Nobody's looking for, of course, there are people who are looking for that, but they're looking for culture. They're looking for that connection.
What are the key elements that you look for in creating the culture? Like what are the things that you value that you want to see in the group as a whole, as well as the committee?
I want people to feel part of the organization. This is their organization. It's not my organization. If it's my front desk, it's her organization. My nurses, it's her organization. Versus, it's management's organization. No. I want people to be empowered. That means if they are looking for a change, management is here to help support them.
Yeah, but how do you do that? I'm trying to think of that person that's just like, yeah, I know, but I can't.
You have to show in your actions every day. Every day.
You as the leader.
You as a leader.
So
absolutely.
what are you?
If you're listening,
what are things that you're doing? Listening is one.
Listening is one, right? Now, listening also is, I've come across some listeners who are just busy minding something else, while they're having a conversation. Can't. Intentional listening. Right? That you care. And it shows. I don't know, there's some people who are like, oh, I don't know how to do it. It shows in your demeanor. If you're there just to listen, put a check on the box that, you had a meeting and you did it, or you were there to listen to their concerns and then make a change. Now, mind you, when people talk about issues, of course, it's not like, every time it's a genuine issue. Sometimes they're also like, it's unnecessary. Like, I don't think so that's an issue. But they categorize it as an issue. So my 2 cents is, you hear from all the sides, all the parties. And then you as a leader have to make an analysis. Where am I going with this picture? What can I do? And what's my ultimate goal? And then trace it back. What should I start doing from day one? First year, what should be my goal? Second year, where am I ending? Things like that. But you also have to have this honest conversation with my group that this is what I am hearing. And now out of this whole big list, A, B, C, is seriously not legit. Think about it. Think about if we start offering it. Is this logically possible? So I would have that conversation.
Okay, so what you are saying is listening. I think we need to add into that is that you listen, you consider, you ruminate a bit, and then you will give not necessarily feedback, but you will then have the discussion about what you've seen, how what you've observed, and then you will start to look back on your vision or whatever the culture is of the group, and then say, here's why we can do it. Here's what we can do. Here's what we can't do.
And here options
and then,
B.
Yeah.
Like if we can't do option A, this is very similar option B. This is what we could arrive. And I feel like that's the job of a leader. You know, when people say it's a collective decision, I understand. But at the same time, what's the role of a leader there? Leader's job is that I have to dig in deep and I have to do that SWOT analysis for this whole situation. Right? And then what could we offer? If we go in direction A, these are the issues that we would face. If we go in direction B, these are the other issues that we would face. So what seems logical?
You're letting them behind the scenes to think about it and let's collectively look at this. And then you may say, based on what I've heard, I think we should do this. You may have a discussion and it may bring you in another option that you hadn't thought of, because that's part of your listening, right?
Yes.
What you're saying. So let me ask you this question. I'm reading a book and I would tell you, but I can't remember the name of it. It's about these guys who are Navy SEALs, right? And how they lead. And it's all about taking ownership. Extreme ownership is the name of the book. And I was on the chapter and it was called There Are No Bad Teams, Just Bad Leaders. What do you say to that?
Absolutely. I resonate with that statement 100%.
Can you elaborate on that?
And I'm trying to think. I can't remember who said this, but I've listened to, was it a podcast? I can't even remember. Okay, there's a big blur there. But the whole point was that you could be a good person, right? As a person, you're great. But if you're put in a bad environment, you would walk in that direction. And you could be a bad person, but if you're put in a good environment, right? The chances are you may follow that suit.
So it's like you've heard of the Pygmalion effect?
Yep.
Yeah, when you raise the expectations, people will come to meet those expectations.
Meet that. But here, with this analogy, I thought the most interesting part was, you know, who creates that environment? A leader. So the environment has that capacity to change a person or a group, however you want, good or bad.
And by doing so, you may have to alter the team.
Yep.
People don't often think about that. They think about you just get everyone on board. That's simple, right? But sometimes it's addition by subtraction.
Yes. And then also, you have to be practical, right? Not all the time you would have all the people following you or your program. Not really. You have to be practical. I always say, you know, there should be a difference between people pleaser and a leader. You're a leader, yes, but you're not a people pleaser. So you would always have resistance.
You can't make everyone happy.
You can never make anybody or all the people around you happy. Your main aim should be majority should be happy. And that majority should be very strong or feel strongly about their environment, about the work that they do, and about the organization that they work for. They should be grateful and they should be happy doing something worthwhile for the organization in general. So I feel like I want to nurture that group and I want to make sure that they are thriving. Now, the naysayers could be there. You can try to modify, change their direction. And in my experience, I've had both. In some instances you were able to change their direction or their group. And in some instances you were not. So you just leave them. That's the bitter part, but you got to do that. Because there's sometimes naturally there's some people around who would not want to do whatever you try for. They would not get on board. And it's okay. It's okay. So don't stress yourself as a leader by saying, oh my gosh, that one person did not align with what I'm looking for or the direction that I want for this organization. It's okay. That's okay. Let them have their opinion. But don't get bogged down with that thought.
So I have other clients, people that I work with, and they struggle with this because they see the potential in everyone and they think they want, this person should be, how do I motivate them to get to this point? Because I know they could be that good, but there doesn't seem to be the desire or will on the part of the individual. But some others do. Some people, they thrive with that. So how do you deal with that?
I give chances. I try. I'll try 2, maximum 3 times. After that, I'll just leave them alone. And then,
but there must be some level of acceptability in your mind to say, okay, well, I'm going to leave you alone now, but I need this level.
Which is standard, right?
Yeah,
It's not like a very motivated employee. No.
So you mean for more of a development opportunity for those.
And then also being involved, with different kind of things at organization, like be it special day celebration or recognition days or employee health and wellness program that we offer, day that we offer annually. So I would know their participation would not be up to the mark, which is fine.
So tell me about your health and wellness day.
So we finished the 3rd year, and the 3rd year we finished with you. So
yes.
Thank you. Yeah. It was great, but that's a day we spend as a team. It's a team building opportunity, and we look at our positives, our negatives. So it's a SWOT analysis for the whole team.
So it's not a trust exercise, escape room type of thing. What are some of the things that you want to get out of this?
It's the honest conversation, right? Through a third party, as I always say. I'm there as part of the management, and then there are employees. So there are certain concerns that employees would bring, and I would have my own stuff that I would put forward. So through this mediator, third party, I think we're trying to have that honest conversation, because for the rest of the year, it's me and them.
Yes. The cool thing about the third party, having a external facilitator come in, is that you become part of the team.
Part of the team.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not like you're at the front leading. You're not having to plan all that.
No.
And I even noticed when we did it, you were laughing with everyone, and you're having that part of it.
Yeah.
Because that's it's your health and wellness day too.
My health and wellness day too. And then interesting thing which people do not get usually is, or very difficult to understand, is senior leadership or executive director or anybody from management, they're also part of the team. We're all here for a common cause and with a common mission, right? Which is working for our organization and taking it further. So I'm also absolutely part of the team.
Okay. You came to Prescott and you made an impact on your team. You did a lot of really interesting things, but there's another part to your job. And you look at, we'll take you away from your ecosystem of your team and your group. And now we have Ontario, all the family health teams, the government, and, policy and all that type of thing. How do you navigate that? Because managing the team is a huge part of your role as an executive director, but then now there's all these other elements that you have to manage. So I don't even know where to start with that. Maybe you have an idea. What's that part of your job like?
Now, when I came into this role, I think there was a lot of expectation from an office manager perspective, and I had to clear that. Like, I'm not here to manage the office. That's one thing for sure. So I trained my staff, like, to take care of their usual day-to-day stuff.
So in other words, you kind of don't have to manage.
I don't.
Be an office manager.
That's not my role. And
Yes.
that's the problem. I feel like we do not have a clear definition and understanding of leadership.
So you had to define
I had to define.
and carve out, well, this is what I'm doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And my role is to bring the morale up for my team, to be compliant with all the requirements, put forth by Ministry, Ontario Health, and then to interact with other organizations. Okay, how do we do that? How do we build collaborations?
Like whom?
Like, there are different community health centers around.
Okay, so locally.
So we
Yeah.
worked with them. So how do we do that? And there's this new concept of, not new anymore though, Ontario Health Teams.
Yes.
So how do we fit into this big picture? Right. So that's my role. So my role is not like, oh, my fax is down, what do I do, Dinny? No.
So what did you do for those things? You
had-
got them to manage it.
Somebody else to manage that.
Okay, gotcha.
So I had to create a team where I have my assistant. She's also my program assistant. Like, we have different chronic diseases program that are run. So she manages to run the numbers for those programs, the analysis part, and then also day-to-day stuff.
So you came in and you thought, well, there wasn't an assistant.
No.
So you took someone from somewhere else in the clinic and you put them into that role. So there was some mixing and matching. And how did you see that? Like, you wanted to get the right person in the right role?
Right person in the right role. But mind you, when you're in a small team in a small place like this, you don't have a lot of options.
Yeah.
So it's not like, oh, I'm going to open up this job opportunity at Prescott and I would have a lot of people applying for this job. Not really. I might have nobody.
And how do you define the roles? Do you create the job description, you outline it, or do you kind of start very basic and then it evolves and you keep track of what that is?
Now, when I joined, right, like I was clear, okay, what I wanted to do and what I don't have here. If I wanted to do something like that, okay, who's going to take care of this? And from my previous role, that was a change. Like, there I had people do it for me. But here, I had to create those positions, mix and match, and then find people who had the strength to do or carry out those projects. So find those people, align it, but then how do I also help myself? Like, I'm involved with a lot of advocacy stuff too. How do I do it? Because I'm not involved with daily operations, like day-to-day stuff of my clinic. No, they know what to do. If phones are down, like, again, somebody in the office knows which number to call, what to do. If the EMR is down, again, somebody knows there's a certain person who's assigned. They would call in, but my assistant would let me know, well, Dinny, this is what has happened, and we're taking care of this. So I am aware, but I'm not that person who would just go in and do everything for everybody.
And that's got to be hard because for some leaders, they're good at everything and they have an idea how it should be done in their head and they can't let go. Like, how did you, maybe you didn't grab onto it at the beginning so you didn't have to let go.
See, again, in leadership, that's the thing. You want people to lead.
I know, but you make it look easy, right? Like, I'm trying to think of the person that's watching this and they're thinking, well, I don't know how to do that. Like,
no, like, and I think that's the beauty of a leader. If you are going to make your people self-sufficient, I think that's it. That's your success. So it's not like, oh, I do in this office, I change the bulbs, I change this. No, that's not your job. Is your organization thriving? Do you have the nuts and bolts, all like things that your foundation is that strong? So I'm responsible for that. I'm not responsible for, like I said, day-to-day stuff. No. Am I involved? Absolutely. But do I have that weight? No. And the first thing was I had to change because it was a concept of the previous leader This was her concept. And I said, well, I'm not a clone of anyone.
Yeah. You have your own vision. And
I
this
have
is
my
how,
own vision and I have my own direction.
And one day someone else is going to come in and they'll do their thing, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, they'll take some of the things they like, what is there, and they may change it.
And they modify whatever they don't like or whatever they think is right for the organization. And that's fine. But I feel like if you do not empower your own people, you know, like as a parent, don't you want your kids to do that? Like you don't want your kids to just call for every little thing. How do I do it? Well, they should know. And that's the point. Your staff should know what to do. Now, you should be involved in the sense like you are aware of what's happening. And if this is beyond anybody's control, again, you come in.
So what would you say to a clinic owner, someone who has like a vested interest, not necessarily like a family health team, but it could also be a family health team, and they say, I don't want to fire people.
You don't have to fire people. I mean, that's not your job.
But at some point, if things aren't going according to your vision, and you've made it very clear and you set expectation it's not, I think a lot of people still won't fire the person.
Oh, no.
Or find a next step, right? Like, so what does that look like for you? Have you ever fired someone?
Oh, I have fired.
Okay. So what was the reason that you would generally do that? Like, how did it lead to that?
After the conversations, right? Again, it's their goal, your goal, company's goals.
And you would maybe share the expectation.
I would share the expectation.
Very
clearly. And this is what we want. And if it's not going in that direction, I would give them, this is the process. You would have 1 verbal, 2 written, and then you're out. So, but I would give you my honest opinion. This is going well and this is not going well. And I know a lot of the times people do not share that clear information and expectation with the employee. But that needs to happen. That's also the role of a leader. You have to tell people that this is bad and how we can grow from that state or move from that state to another. Right? So that's part of your job.
So now, in the current state of healthcare in Ontario, I guess Canada in general, we'll say Ontario because it's more of a provincial governance. Where are the opportunities?
Now, first of all, I'll talk about where are the issues. The issue is, for me, it's the leadership and the governance. And I feel that that's where we're not very clear. It's not very well defined. And it's loosey-goosey. And we're okay with it.
So when you say leadership, you mean like the Minister of Health or? No,
leadership of healthcare organizations. And I will talk about family health teams. So is there a defined role of an executive director? Like how we just talked about, like, oh, you're responsible for daily operations. And then some people are just, they're spending the whole time with daily operations. They're not spending any time with, and that's how
So
when
you've defined that. You've defined
that.
What you find is like you're more of a coach in many ways and helping people develop and develop their skills and maybe letting them go ahead and do things, and maybe they may make mistakes, they may do it differently than you said. You're willing to give that rope.
I'm just responsible to create that environment, period.
Okay, so when you go to these big meetings and you see all these other people that are executive directors, I don't know, what ballpark, how many other people have the approach that you do?
I don't know.
You don't, yeah. I guess how would you know, right?
I would not know.
But I'm sure there are many that don't.
Looking for like, okay, do they know or how do they do it? But I'm looking at, okay, how many organizations have a very strong governance?
Yeah. So going back to your point, that's where I was going. It's like when you say leadership or governance, it's not aligned.
No, it's not aligned. There's a lot of muddy waters here. And the clarity is not there. And I'm like, if you do not have that clear picture, how are you going to lead your organization? And that's where the disconnect is.
So if you have a team that's 15, a team that's 50, and a team that's 150, should the definition of executive director role be the same for all of them, or would it?
It would
Would it change?
It would change, absolutely. But because bigger teams have more help, right? They would have a finance manager. I don't have a finance manager.
More of a structure.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, we have to create those opportunities for executive directors, specifically for teams like mine, where they're not just spending time in day-to-day operations. They have to know what they should be doing instead. They should be taking care of the teams, and teams will take the whole mission forward. Right? I'm just responsible to create that environment for them so that they perform at their best level.
Now let's complicate it and talk about...
Can I also add one more thing?
Oh, of course.
You know what the common theme is between all these different teams around? If your foundation is not strong, then the whole building is going to come down. So whatever you are, like either you're a small team, big team, average team, medium team, whatever, your foundation has to be strong, and it goes back to governance. It starts with your governance. If your governance is strong, and when I say governance, I mean, what's your board like? What are the policies that are trickling down from your board? And if that's not aligned, executive director won't be able to function properly.
So what if you're an executive director who doesn't have strong governance? Okay, how can they affect that? How do they make a change?
And because an organization doesn't have a strong governance, you mean? Now, their whole perspective should start from making or creating that strong governance. Talk to your board. Be honest about it. But at the same time, you want your board to be more professional and be open to listening as well, which is very unfortunate, but many of the times that's not also the case.
But you could see the problem that some people might have. They may inherit this issue. They come in, maybe they're new, and after a year they're thinking, oh man, this is not easy. What do I do? How do I manage that? I feel like I don't have the ability to make the impact that I'd like, because I feel like I'm being cut off at the knees, for lack of a better expression.
For family health teams, I think I'm advocating at every level that I can now to have a proper representation at the board. You should have your clinical team, but you should also have equal number of community members at your board. It's
hard. This happens everywhere. You're someone who comes in with a lot of excitement, and you want to make change, and you're trying to create some psychological safety and get people speaking to one another and building trust. And then all of a sudden someone from the board will say, I don't really like what's happening here, because we have an idea as to how it should be done. And then the two are not aligning, right?
Yes. And that's where, what I was talking about. You have to make sure that your board is aligned first.
Yeah, but there's people watching this are going to be like, how do you do that though?
That's what have a conversation. If that doesn't work well, then it's not the place. I would not spend more time. But look at what organizations are losing, and that's where I want people who are at that level and that authority to realize that you're losing all these great leaders because you're invested and you're focused on something that you want to be, at, or you consider important for yourself and not for the organization. It's such a big loss from that perspective.
So let's not speak to the executive director now. Let's speak to the team that has someone going to bat for them, and they're hitting a ceiling and they can't get any further in change. And then that person leaves. That person is told to leave. That person is forced out. I feel bad for those people on the team, because the person that was fighting for them said uncle and said, I can't handle anymore. They're arm behind the back. Okay, I give. And they leave. And they put someone in who's going to just be a voice box for the board of directors.
Complacent, yeah. Yeah.
So I feel bad for those people because they're on the front lines and they see the change and they're saying, let's push up, let's make a change. But I don't know. Do you have any, what do you say to those people in those situations?
I would say to board members, if any of the board members are listening, you need to listen more and then support more your executive director. Give them a chance. When I started, not everybody was pro me. No, I was coming from a different country. So most of the people had those doubts. How is she going to thrive in this environment? She doesn't even know the concept and the healthcare and blah, 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 all of that. But I had this one person in the board, one of the physicians on the team, who felt strongly. And it was interesting. He said, I have no idea, Dinny, whatever you say, but it sounds convincing. I feel like you know what you're doing, and I'm going to give you that chance. And for me, that was enough.
Yeah. So they really felt like you were going to take it in a good direction. You had built that trust and kind of, they believed in you. Believed
in me. And for me, I think the most important thing was he didn't know what I was talking about. He didn't see, what I wanted to bring in to this team. But he saw my conviction and he was convinced that, I'm here to make a difference and I have it in me to bring the team to that level. So board members, it's important for board members to have that level of trust in their EDs. Give them the chance that they require to make a difference, because if your board doesn't support you, how would EDs go to the front lines or go to their staff and then talk about a change when in fact they're not supported themselves?
Would you describe yourself as assertive?
I am very assertive.
So what if you're speaking
unapologetically assertive?
And that's why I'm feeding I know the answer. That's why I'm asking it. But I'm trying to think of the person who's watching who's not assertive, and they're like, well, how do I, because you're comfortable having these conversations, and maybe you always weren't. Maybe you've grown into that. But what do you say to those people that are having difficulty with working with their board and they need to be more assertive, and you just say, well, you just need to be more assertive. But how do you? It's
communication. It's communication. But have that one person on the team, and that would start with maybe one-on-one communication with board members. Find out, how do they work? What's the motivation for them to be on the board? If they're from community or if they're from clinical background, again, find where's the common ground.
And we're assuming positive intentions, of course.
Positive intentions.
Yes.
And then you will find that one person. I've always found those people in the crowd. Like that one person that would believe in you. And then you just hold on to that. And then try to change direction by having continuous conversations. Transparency is the key. When you show your accountability, like you are showing results. You're showing maybe whatever you're talking about. Maybe it's financial statements, like, this is how it should be, and this is the expense. Like, I'm just giving out random examples, but showing your authenticity as well. So that somewhere in the room, someone would have that thought like, oh, I don't know what it is, but I want to believe in you.
Yes. And you have to deliver. You have to be, take accountability and ownership yourself, right?
Yes. And that's what, the first thing is believe in yourself as a leader. If you're starting that journey, it's important to know yourself. And then I do this regularly. I do this regular check-in, and it's not check-in, how do I feel? No. It's a check-in, what's my positive? What's my strong point here? what's my weak point here? Everybody has it, right? But you have to rely more on your strong characters. So what's my positive that I can take forward? And then once you start doing those exercises with yourself, every day, weekly, monthly, whatever it is for you, you get that confidence and conviction with your own path forward. And I feel, and because it has always happened with me, when you walk in the room, people feel it. You walk with that aura.
I really today I wanted to try and capture the essence of your approach and how you do that and try to make it practical. And I think we have done it. And I thank you, because I know I was asking you, tell me a bit about that. I was getting into the, wanting to get into the weeds with you. But is there one thing that maybe you would like to end off with that you can share with your fellow executive directors, or even someone who's on a health team somewhere else and who's wanting to make change from their position? Because we talked about this off before we started, like, you can lead from any position. You don't have to be in a management position to lead. You can have any role in a clinic, from reception, admin, dietitian, whatever. We can all lead. What would you say? What's one parting thing that you can share?
Well, first of all, I think we need collaboration for any project. It's not like, I can make a difference. I can make a difference at my level. But if it's for the whole organization, there has to be a collaborative effort. But at the same time, don't be afraid of speaking what is right.
Love it.
And I always say,
but people are afraid.
People are afraid, but don't be scared. And of course, you could say, well, it's easier said than done. But try that once. Once you overcome your fears, that's it. That's the end of this whole fear story, and then life begins from there. So as a leader, if you want to change something, I would say start something with you. Remove that fear, because you are in this for a reason, to make a difference, not just for yourself, for a lot of people. That's what you call organization. And if you are fearful, look how many lives could be affected. So don't be scared. Say what is right. Do what is the right thing to do. And you will always have people who would follow you at the end.
Love it. Dinny, just on that point alone, it was worth the drive to Prescott.
I'm happy to hear that.
Awesome. Thanks so much. We'll have to continue the conversation another time.
Thank you so much, Mike.
Okay, thank you.
I appreciate it.